Om Shanti. We have learnt different ways of doing meditation, and I guess you've had a very hectic schedule. And did you get time to sleep in the afternoon? How many of you actually took a short nap? Oh, good. And do you think you still need naps in between the day? At office? Okay. So here's a unique way that we do in some of the corporates, and some of us are actually doing at office. You're just taking out some 5 minutes of your time just on your cubicle, in your seat, or probably you could actually start with 5 minutes and reduce it to 2 seconds or 5 seconds at a traffic light also. So we will start with a few minutes of guided meditation. I just need to give you 2 points. One is we are going to think about ourself. You've heard about ourself. I'm going to define ourself as thought energy. And this energy manifests inside our body in the form of thoughts. And the thoughts is going to actually work on our body in such a beautiful way that it is going to have a healing effect, it is going to have a placebo effect, it is also going to have an effect on our mind which is going to relax our whole body. So can I request each one of you to just close your eyes, sit comfortably. You might choose whatever position that you are in, or what is the position that you sit usually. Yeah, it is preferred that you actually keep your spine straight, head erect, and feel very comfortable. What should you do with your hands? Just keep it on your lap or on the side. Ensure that you don't hold anything. And I request each one of you to please keep your mobile phones on silent mode or switched off mode. In case of emergency, call God. So can we start? As I close my eyes, I imagine myself to be just a point of light, a source of energy, very quiet and peaceful. In the center of my forehead, I am going to use my power of thought to take a journey inward. I move this energy to the bottom of my legs, tip of my toe. I press the ground a little and slowly let go. I shift my attention to my thighs and my back. I feel the pressure of the seat and slowly let go. Let me try to have the feelings that's going on inside me. Let me take a deep breath. Hold the air inside and slowly release it. I can feel the relaxation of the stomach and the lungs. I now want to listen the sound inside me. Let me start counting my heartbeats. And all those who are not able to hear your heartbeats, you might want to keep your hand near your heart. Very slowly, bring your hands back. Fold your fingers, make it into a fist, Hold it tight and slowly let go. You can feel the movement of the blood in the veins towards the shoulder and the face. Clench your jaw, frown a little, and slowly let go. You can feel the relaxation in your cheeks and the temple. You have come back to your original place in the center of the forehead. No consciousness of hands, no consciousness of legs. You're just hanging in the air, 4 feet above the ground, very quiet and peaceful. I'm going to take a journey upward now. But to do that, I'm going to use the fuel of my thoughts to remove all the labels attached. I'm neither a brother nor a sister, neither a father nor a mother. I'm just a child of God, very quiet and peaceful. I'm going to hand over my relations to God. Let Him take care of these relations. Let Him fulfill all their wishes. The wishes of my colleagues, the pure wishes of my family members, while I take a journey out of my body. And very slowly, I'm going to step out of my body and go somewhere in the top of this room. Through my third eye, I am able to see my body sitting there, quiet and peaceful. Very slowly, I take a journey out of this building, above this campus. I see this beautiful campus with the diamond hall and the kitchen where I came from. Slowly I take a journey in the sky. And you take a journey out of this earth, very quiet and peaceful, beyond the gravitational pull of the earth. I'm going to retreat to my original home, the place from where I have come, from where we all have come. And I'm going to feel that pull, that love, unconditional love, eternal peace, absolute silence. Let me stay with my Supreme Father and Mother, the Supreme God, for a few moments in dead silence.
Thank you, Brajesh Bhai, for the meditation session. There's an announcement. We have Nokia Lumina 730 mobile phone. It was kept somewhere and we found it. Whosoever it belongs to, you can take it from Sanjeev Gupta Bhaiji from the help desk. I would like to call upon our panelists for this panel session. We have BK Sister Shreya from Mumbai. A warm, hearty welcome to you, sister. We have Brother Brijesh from Hyderabad. Heartiest welcome to you as well. कहते हैं चलने की कोशिश तो करो, दिशाएं बहुत हैं, रास्तों पे बिखरे कांटों से ना डरो, तुम्हारे साथ दुआएं बहुत हैं. We have Sister Shreya amongst us. She has been working as a dedicated sister in godly service for past 6 years with the Brahma Kumaris Institution. She is graduate in English literature and masters in value education and spirituality. She is a faculty member of BK Borivali subzone at its transport and travel wing in Mumbai. She has conducted several workshops at various places on diverse topics relevant to today's busy life of professionals, businessmen, at corporates, management institutions, banks, social organizations like Lions and Rotary, and schools and colleges. I request the sisters to please extend floral welcome to Sister Shreya. We have amongst us Brother Brijesh Chawla from Hyderabad. He is a senior member of the Education Training and Assessment Unit at Infosys Limited. Sister is extended floral welcome to him. He is also an adjunct faculty with the Brahma Kumaris. He has been practicing Raj Yoga meditation for more than 20 years. He was instrumental in starting the spirituality in IT. As the monthly retreats for IT professionals at Hyderabad and daily meditation sessions in his office, which has now become as an official initiative. He conducts workshops, conferences, retreats, and some of the most popular topics are self-management and leadership, meditation for busy people, spiritual companion at workplace. I welcome Brother Brijesh from Hyderabad as a panelist for this very session. So, after having so many sessions by the BK senior faculty and our guest speakers, every one of you, are you ready for this panel open discussion? We have this question and answering panel discussion, a very interactive session, a very wonderful and a unique session for all of you. So, our panelists, are you ready? Shreya sister and Brijesh brother, you ready? And audience, you're ready with your questions and your doubts to be cleared in this session? Thank you so much. So here we'll start. Yeah, Sister Shreya is requesting me to introduce myself. This is BK Karamjeet from Jalandhar, Punjab, and I have been working as a lecturer for PG Department of Commerce in Khalsa College there, and associated with Rotary International from past 10 years. And I'm into this Baba's godly gyan, this knowledge since my childhood. Thank you. It's my honor and great pleasure to be the coordinator for this very session because I am from non-IT background and here all IT people are there. So it's a great and wonderful new experience for me as well. Thank you. And we'll start with our panel discussion, and we have like a question of my own. And as IT professionals, are we really that busy? I'm asking to Brother Brijesh and the audience too, that as an IT professionals, are the IT professionals, and as you are working, as one of your friend is also working as an IT professional, are we really that busy when we say?
I'll echo their words. Yes, we are busy, right? But it starts with the mind actually.
How would you define a busy mind?
So when we actually allocate certain tasks, we kind of start allocating each and every task, and it starts right from the day, from the time when we get up in the morning. And I have my family members giving me some task. I have my maid giving me some task. I have my driver giving me some task. And then there are some tasks which I get it on the road also. Some people are honking behind me and telling me, slow down boss, or move fast. as I reach office, I have 5 different tasks, maybe to complete in next 1 hour. What I do is I get busy with all these tasks, and there are some tasks I'll have to do towards the end of the day. And I keep thinking about each and every task, every point of time, and that's how I become busy. But this point is, I have to take one task at one time.
Is this same with every one of you? Yes, I think for us all. Can I have the next question for you, that in this busy schedule, how you actually relax yourself?
I have learned it from the BKs, and you've heard it from 1 or 2 sessions today itself, that we prioritize this task. In fact, what I've learned from BKs, which I don't think so I would have ever learned from any university in the world, is we've got a schedule of thoughts first thing in the morning. So as we do the Amrit Vela meditation, that's from 4 to 5, we were asked to create a schedule of thoughts. Even the president or the prime minister may not have a schedule of thoughts, but we were asked to create. And then we park those thoughts. For example, I need to get some groceries at 5 o'clock in the evening. I park those thoughts of getting grocery at 5 o'clock. And it actually pops up because my bio clock works very, very effectively.
Do we have some, I have heard that IT professionals have short breaks during their long schedule at their offices and corporates. Is that true? Do we have short breaks? Can anyone from the audience tell what actually that short break is about? Anyone from the audience? Role and responsibility. But commonly, in general, what kind of short break it is? Yes? It's a coffee break. Oh. Yes, it's a coffee break, and for some it's this sort of breaks. Okay, you can have, I think, refreshment. But Sister Shreya, can we add to this break? Can we add something to this break that rejuvenates us?
Generally, what I do is I sit in a fifth floor. Every 30 minutes, 40 minutes, I just see outside the glass. There's a huge big one. It will be very green all the time. Whenever it's an season comes by, autumn season, I see a lot of flowers. So I do that every 30 minutes.
Very nice. Om Shanti once again. You know what Om Shanti means? What does it mean? I am a peaceful being. And we use this greeting to remind ourselves that I am a peaceful being, and to remind the person who's sitting in front of us that originally we are a peaceful being. So once again, Om Shanti. When you're talking about busy, it's like we're sitting with IT people, but I tell you honestly, whether it's an IT group or it's doctors or it's teachers or it's housewives, everyone will tell you we are busy. True or not?
Yes.
It's really not one profession. The life has become fast. It is the truth that we are busy. Practically, we have more things. Life is more demanding. The work timings are more. It's the truth. And in between that, to keep my mind stable, what I do, and what again it's been a teaching from Brahma Kumaris, like you said, we take coffee breaks, we take smoking break, we take a spiritual break. It's just like when you take a coffee break, you drink coffee. When we take a spiritual break, we call it in Brahma Kumaris, it is called very beautifully, traffic control of the mind. And what is this? Have you seen sometimes there's a lot of traffic on the road? Lot of traffic. So the traffic police is anyways directing the traffic, but if there is too much traffic, what actually it does? It stops. It stops everything for a couple of seconds, and then it again starts directing. So when the traffic control of the mind is something which you are experiencing here also, It begins from the morning, and after every hour or 1.5 hour, a song is played. Because we then lose the track of time. So whether we are in center and people are doing it in their companies also, a soft music plays. And that is the time to go from action consciousness to soul consciousness. We are human beings, we're not human doings. Is there a difference or not? Who am I, a human being or a human doing? But then most of my thoughts are about doing. I have to do this, I have to do this, and I have to do this. So when I take that break, the song plays, I stop for a moment, and it's not just stop doing what I'm doing. Sometimes what people do is they're sitting, they're not doing what they were doing, but they're not doing anything here also. So it's not that. So I stop cooking or I stop working on the computer, and then I look within. And I look within and I check the thought. Can we do that? We just go within and we check the quality of thought. And if I realize the thought that I am creating is negative, then from the knowledge that I have, which I take every day with the spiritual study, I change the quality of thought. And I'm back into the work. So from doing, I come back into the being stage. You don't say do happiness. You don't say do peace. What do you say? Be happy. So in that moment, I tell myself, I am a happy being, and that next task that I'm going to do it happily. We're not doing things for happiness. आपको क्या लगता है? Which sounds better? To do something for happiness or to do it with happiness? Will I be happy at the end of the day when I have achieved my targets, or will I achieve my targets with happiness? So that 1 minute break, that spiritual break, is to remind myself I am that being, and in that consciousness I have to work.
Really very nice example of a short break which we all can practice in our offices. I would like to have a live experience
Just
from...
one thing.
Yeah.
Just to add one last thing to this is, it may sound very nice, but it will only happen when you will really make an effort. And the best effort that you can do right now, just after the program, put an alarm. I do that. I put an alarm. 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, or there's an application. The IT people have the application, just a minute. So every hour that song of 1 minute plays. Yes, brother, you're saying something.
Hello. Yeah. So the only thing that I wanted to add was, as that you was mentioning about a tool or anything of that kind. I think being an IT professional, we are already blessed with it, right? I mean, we use Outlook all through a day in, day out, right? And I believe most of our phones are synced every moment to our Outlook, right? So how I have done is, I've got a recurring meeting on my calendar, which starts as early as 6 in the morning till 10 in the night, right? And it prompts me every hour for Vah 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 Vah, and which is exactly what is time signal for me to say, okay, so it's about retreating back from where I am and taking a pause to look at what my thoughts are. So I think just to share with the group that they may use the same tool more effectively than they can.
Somebody was telling me that it doesn't even play a new application. You probably know. Somebody was sharing with me. It doesn't even play, but you're sitting on your screen and it suddenly starts giving those rays, those things, and it's the minute of silence. So any technique. What I'm saying is, anybody in the world you see very calm and composed, they are working. It's not natural. They are working. They are putting it into schedule. They are putting alarms to keep themselves calm. It is not coming automatically. We're all working, and we put alarms to keep that stage. So, it shouldn't be just at the level of hearing. We'll have to make that change.
Thank you, Sister Shreya. Britesh Bhai, can we have a practical example from your schedule, how you make space in your busy life and at your corporate office?
Quite a few
There are quite a few tools that we use, but I will just list down 4 of them. First thing when I reach office is, as I boot my computer, I boot my mind. The next thing, when we are online, you might want to use the justaminute.org website, which he just mentioned. There is, every 1 hour, you can just take a break for a minute. It just takes a minute for you to relax. During the day, we apply corporates in IT sector. We are used to using 20-20-20 rule. After 20 minutes, see 20 meters away for 20 seconds. Why don't we do after 20 minutes, 20 meters away for 20 seconds, think of 20 different thoughts. And I use thoughts about God. Towards the end of the day, as I switch off my system, I close all the applications exactly the same way I close each and every application on my system. Because each application occupies space, each occupation heats up the computer. So as I retreat back to my home, I kind of close the applications of all my work, done for today. Even if it is not done, I force shut down and I get back home.
So every one of you like this exercise? This part of having a short break? How many of you would like to implement it at your corporate offices? Wow, wonderful. Please clap for yourself. Thank you. From the very, yeah.
They have done it. I didn't bring the video. I could have shown it to you. She just said about corporates. We have a video which just came. It's on YouTube. You can see Dadi Janki had gone to Pakistan. And Dadi Janki spoke to a group of people. And one principal from an international school, Hampton School, took the course. And she was so touched by this exercise. Then they put up the speakers in all the classes for the students. And it's like after every 1.5 hour, the commentary goes, and the commentary is like, I'm so unique, I'm a star, I don't have to compete with people, I have to bring out the best in me, I am a peaceful being. And the children are sharing that initially they used to feel sleepy, but then slowly it went so deep that I don't have to compete, that even the moment they are about competing, or just the thought of comparison comes, immediately there's another thought, no, I am unique, I have to give what I can to the society. So listening to it every day, it's become their sanskar today. So maybe we can show it tomorrow or sometime. It's a beautiful 5 minutes video.
Probably they can also use something similar application as a ringtone in their mobile.
From the very first day you all are here, you have been watching, looking and listening to the word spirituality in IT, SIT. Does the term spirituality really goes with IT and makes it complete? Brajesh bhai?
Yeah. Usually the HR in the corporate world, especially which have their head offices out of India, feel that spirituality is associated with religion, and that's when they kind of have a disconnect. But India, I guess most of you will agree with me that spirituality is nothing to do with religion, and that's when we can actually include that. But there are these fears and phobias in the different communities, in the different hierarchy of people in the organizations. What you could use words like mindfulness, relaxation, or just a personal space for you to just relax, recharge and rejuvenate.
Thank you so much. I think every one of you sitting here, after having so many sessions, you would be having one question in your mind, that is this really possible to inculcate all these things practically in your daily routine? Anyone? Are you thinking this? Or everyone? Because one part is you're coming away from your home, You're sitting here, you are getting that environment, and you are easily habitual, getting up in the morning, then doing it, and you are easily getting into that schedule over here. But when you go back at your places, is that really possible? Yes? Can you please raise your hands? Those who agree that yes, this is possible. The first part of the question. Yes, this is possible. Then the second part comes. Will I make it possible? Please, will I make it possible? See, every time when I'm asking, more hands are there coming up. So, suppose it's one of the questions that came from the audience to me, that there are flood of thoughts attacking one's mind that creates hindrance to the concentration or the meditation you have learned here. There are so many thoughts. People say that when we sit in the meditation, there are flood of thoughts coming and we are getting disturbed and we don't know how to concentrate while doing meditation. So I have this question to Sister Shreya, that how can they help themselves in this situation?
Does this happen when you actually sit down, the thoughts increase? You know, actually what happens, that's the only time we realize that there are so many thoughts. Yeah. It's not that just the moment you sat down, the speed of the thought has increased. No, it's not like that. It's just when you sit down, you're more aware of your thoughts. And actually you realize how fast the thoughts are going in my mind. And that's the beginning. It's okay if they're fast. I mean, none of us on the very first day of meditation could connect. It doesn't happen that way. Initially, it is just a realization, the first realization, I am the creator of the thoughts. Till now, the realization is not there. We think the thoughts are coming on their own. So the first belief system that I have to break, they're not coming on their own. I am creating them. It is just that I am not aware, they're just coming from anywhere. Then, after that awareness, you must have sometime noticed if the child is doing something wrong in his room, and you just go stand there, the corner of the room, and just observe the child, and he knows that you're observing him, then what happens? What will happen? He will stop, because he knows there's somebody who is noticing. This is the child. You just go within, you see the thought, and then you just stand in the corner and see. Just don't pass a judgment, Don't pass a judgment. Just detach yourself and observe them. The speed will reduce. And once the speed reduces, then like we did in the previous session, we have to check the root cause. Why are these thoughts coming? What is the problem? Then from the plethora of the knowledge, use the right knowledge to reduce them. They will go automatically, but then that will take a lot of time and a lot of energy is wasted, and that is why a lot of people will say, "Jo hum heal nahi kar sakte, wo samay heal kar denga." है ना? Very powerful quote. समय के साथ साथ सब कुछ ठीक हो जाएगा. But then who is more powerful then? I or time? And whose creation is time? Time is whose creation? It's my creation. So my creation more powerful than me, or I am more powerful than time? Those people leave it on time who don't know what to do. There is a situation, and that is why the another thing which is very important. See, meditation is consciously changing your thoughts, but for that you need knowledge. I'll give you one example. Interrupt me if I take too long, because I tend to do that. See, for example, a situation. Somebody insults you. Thoughts come or not? They come? Chalte hain ki nahi chalte? And the speed increases after some time. Why did they insult me? Why did they insult in front of so many people? They shouldn't have said this. They shouldn't have said. It continues. And with a period of time, they will increase or not? And then we'll say, I am not going to forgive that person for the rest of my life, and he can just go on. Now what we do in meditation, somebody insulted, I felt bad. The knowledge that I have to use here is, if they are insulting me, if they are getting angry on me, they are in. आपने कभी गुस्सा किया? गुस्सा किया है कभी? What is the feeling? How do you feel inside? Comfortable? Painful? Have you insulted somebody? How do you feel? Pain? So if somebody insulted me, they are in. And when somebody is in pain, फिर उसके ऊपर क्या आती है? What should I feel for that person? You know everything. You know, we know everything. Then when I sit in meditation, this is what I do. I talk to myself. I tell myself, they were in pain when they did this, and I need to feel compassion for them, and then your mind will, the thoughts will stop. They will slow down, they will stop, and you will have good feelings for the other soul. So this is how we stop the soul. No, what I was making a point is, we need knowledge. मन की लगाम क्या है? मन की लगाम क्या है? इंटेलेक्ट ना, बुद्धि. बुद्धि लगाम है ना, तो बुद्धि को ज्ञान से तो भरना पड़ेगा ना. Two things go hand in hand, and that's why when you go back, you have to connect your local centers. The local centers help you to take in positive information, and then through the day, you have to use that information to silence your mind. Otherwise it will not happen. Otherwise it is like, people have these temporary techniques. 100 से वापस 1 तक गिनती गाओ. तो क्या होगा? You are going just diverting your thoughts. It's not a solution. That moment you will calm down. It will come up.
Birds of the same feather flock together. Even I would like to use some time.
Just extending this question to Brajesh Bhai, I was having something in my mind that, yes, when we have some sort of blockages of thoughts in our minds at our workplace, which are sometimes very unexpected, what's the solution to it?
Yeah, good that you've asked me this question. I was about to answer the same thing with respect to the thoughts which he actually shared. And these blockages and about the numerous thoughts that we have when we start sitting in meditation are nothing like the traffic signal which he just told. There are traffic of thoughts that we have. And when thoughts come from all direction, I have thoughts of my family, I thoughts of my work, thoughts of my friends, relations, and everybody. And everybody is trying to become a priority for me at that particular point of time. So what happens? There is a traffic jam. But then there's something wonderful happens. At least it happens in Hyderabad, or it used to happen. You know what? There's a policeman. He says, there's a chief minister's car coming. Please step aside, move aside, and there is this escort vehicle which ensures that the whole road is free. At Brahmakumaris, we use the chief minister God's thoughts. As she said, we need knowledge. Knowledge about whom? The plethora of knowledge that we have. In that, choose the ones which are highest, holiest, richest, all about God. When you have these thoughts, think about the ways He has actually moved you, He has changed your life, He has given you benefit. And all these thoughts take a step back. And you know what happens after that? After you have this traffic control of thoughts, once God's thoughts have passed by and your meditation is over, it could be a second, it could be a minute, it could be 10 minutes. The policeman, your mind, exactly knows which route has more traffic and asks that traffic to pass by. That way, which thoughts have more priority? and you will be able to make a judgment very fast after meditation. Believe me, it works. It has worked for all of us.
As we heard in our previous sessions, we have a very practical challenge. One of example I heard from one of the audience. Somebody, I'm putting this question to Brajesh Bhai. Somebody at our workplace, at our corporate office, really committed a big blunder. Sort of mistake that we can't forgive or forget. Then what's the solution? Such a mistake that we think that no, here we can't spare this person.
While I conduct some of these meditation sessions, there are a number of people who actually come and ask me that there are so many mistakes committed at office. There are personal mistakes, there are official blunders, there are mistakes which cannot be forgiven for the rest of the life. I was of the assumption that I have to go and ask for forgiveness to that person. Unless that person, in writing, in words, in the mind, forgives me, I will not feel comfortable. And you wait for that person to come back. At Brahmakumaris, I learned something different. First, learn to forgive yourself. Have I really forgiven myself? If I am able to do that, first thing, believe me, my vibrations will go to the other person first. Take a minute of silence. Traffic control of your thoughts.
Thank you, everyone. Rajesh Bhai, we want to listen to any practical challenge from your experience that you had faced at your office, at your workplace, where you would have used the technique of forgive and forget.
Yeah. All of us, we work in IT organizations. I personally feel that this is one sector, one industry where you have some of the best people in the world and some of the most knowledgeable people, but yet you have challenges. You have probably politics. You have people wanting to compete with each other. You have lack of spaces. So during these times, during these challenges, what I actually do is give space to my own self. I kind of take a retreat just for a few moments. I've started using that in my office a few years back, and I kind of just step back and think why this challenge has come to me. And most of the time I found that these challenges are stepping stones to opportunities. These challenges have actually come to make me realize that this is what I lack in me, or I have to teach something, that this challenge is there in front of me to make other person realize what are the answers that I need to have. And these short breaks of just introspection will make us realize what these challenges are in first place, how to cope with these challenges in the next time, and third, how to become a solution provider instead of becoming a problem statement for these challenges.
Thank you, Rajesh Bhai. Before we step forward to the very practical question asked by one of the audience, I would request you, every one of you sitting here in the audience, please look at, face towards the person sitting next to you. Face towards the person sitting next to you and pass a smile. Okay, well, how did you feel? How did you feel? Can you do this? Can you do this every day with your colleagues? Each and every one in the office? With your boss or subordinate? Yes, or challenging? Challenging.
My boss is not there in reverse.
Fine.
With your colleagues, in your cubicles, not through emoticons.
Yes. It should be very lively. Passing smile to them.
And also, not just this smile. This smile is something that we can master, and the service industry can master it so well that you have no idea.
Yes.
The air hostess, and they call you and they ask you something, and then you bang the phone and say, "Thank you, we'll call you again tomorrow," and then again you bang the phone and then again call. They don't get upset. Have you seen it? The service industry never gets upset. So it's not about this smile. This will come automatically. It's about here, if this is very calm and quiet and peaceful and thinking good about others, that smile will come from within. It'll come automatically. You don't have to work here. You don't have to work. The face is the reflection of the mind. And even in the face, which is the part which reflects your mind the most? Eyes. And look at the eyes of a kid. Have you seen eyes of a kid? There is something very deep about it. They don't hold things. They fight with somebody this moment, and you go after 5 minutes, they're playing with the same person. They don't hold, they forgive. And that is why the smile comes from there within.
Thank you, Sister Shreya. We are having each one of you with a wonderful smiling faces right now. Everyone looks so beautiful, so good. We have Sister Priyanka from Hyderabad. She was having a question related to the pressures from top management. I would like her to please share her question with the audience and the panelists.
So, I have a question. In the normal routine, I can plan my work and execute it along with some ad hoc tasks. But at times, when you have your own work, immediate deliverables, and you realize that there are couple of urgent, important, and kind of critical tasks which come to you from your very important stakeholders. So it is not about doing one thing after the other, but problem is when everything comes to you at the same time. So how do you cater to, one is the context switching in these situations, and secondly the pressure which comes because of limited, very tight schedule, plus an audience, when the receiver is a very critical stakeholder. So that's my question.
Brijesh Bhai, I think you can share your experience on this part of the situation.
Yeah, I'll add 2 points, and Sister Shreya will also answer to that as well. We usually do that. I was at the receiving end quite a few times, and the first thing which I also realized little late in life is, while I'm already into one task and I get another task, I hold on to this task, I want to complete this task, and I take up this task as well and try to finish both the tasks at the same point of time. But then I've learned from my own colleagues, not from BKs. Brijesh, learn to tell the recipient or your boss or your super boss, I am doing this task, and if I am going to start a new task which is critical and probably requires an immediate deliverable, then I am going to hold on to this task probably for the next 1 hour or 2 hours, or probably for the next day, and then step into the other shoes. That's one thing that we do. The other thing that we do is, whenever we get these kind of tasks, are we ready to take up that challenge? Because most of the time what happens is, we resist those tasks. We do not take those tasks willingly. You've already created a barrier. And if you will permit me, I'll just share a small story. And this story, I love to share it just before the meditation session, is just keeping your mind open. There was a school in which a hypnotist comes, and he is kind of hypnotizing children the way you all are sitting, one by one. Towards the end, he says, now this last child who can come onto the stage, I will hypnotize him. The principal was sitting there and he said, if you can hypnotize me, children, whatever you say, they will do. Or probably they get hypnotized also. But if you can hypnotize me, I can believe your talent. In very humble tone, very respectfully, he calls the principal onto the stage. Guess what he says? He says, I beg your pardon, sir. I can never hypnotize you in my entire life. You know why? He is not open. He is not ready. And you will find some of these statements in the movies like Matrix. Unless and until you want to think that this is going to happen, it will not happen. So my choice will be to just keep an open mind. Of course, after prioritizing what it has to be done. Maybe Shreya, you would like to add to that?
Have you ever seen Indian cricket team playing under pressure? What happens? What happens? They collapse. And that's why, but not all, you know. What's the first name that comes who never collapses? Which other cricketers who don't collapse under pressure? Name comes, no? Dhoni. And now? You've been reading in the news. I have been reading. This Ajinkya Rahane has been developed that kind of mental toughness. See what happens, and that's why, because she used the word pressure, there are two kinds of pressures. One which comes from outside and you have no control. So there is a pressure that you have to do this much, this much, this much, and you have to, these are the runs you have to make. But there's an internal pressure where the commentary goes on like, I have to do this, and I have to do this, and I have to do this, and they don't understand, and they've given me another task, and this, and this, and this. Now this commentary creates lot of negative energy, and my efficiency comes down. When the Indian cricket team is playing there, what is going to happen in the match is not in their control. They might have to play under pressure. And there is a whole field, now sports psychology. They may be a very good cricketer, but then they need to know what to think when they go there on the crease. And if they create this thought or see this, what happens if I get out? What will be printed tomorrow in the newspaper? And they see the effigy getting burnt. Fear. And the fear reduces the efficiency, and there are chances of making mistakes. Have you heard of this thing, careless mistake? There's nothing like careless mistake. When you are in fear, 2 plus 2 becomes. So we add to the pressure. According to time, some pressure comes from outside, which is something we can't do much about it. Both the parents are working, timings, there are things that we can't do. But there's a lot of pressure that we are creating by creating these thoughts. So I think at least at that level we can change. If there is a lot of work, I can, like I said, prioritize, we can communicate, or I can tell myself, let me play my role the best.
We can segregate our thoughts, we can segregate and prioritize our works, our workload.
Can I interrupt here?
Yes.
Yeah. So I have a live example of a meditation practitioner at office, and he's a group project manager handling 12 accounts and probably $1 million business. He told me that, Brijesh, this is what I've learned is at the end of the day when I'm not able to take anything more, I give my best and leave the rest to God. And some of the wonderful ways he steps in, sends his angels and ensures that your work is done. Believe me, it works.
It works.
It really works. We had a long discussion on the problem part of the topic, that is easy meditation for busy IT minds. Let's come to the solution part. Easy meditation. You would find so many articles, so many books of Brahma Kumaris with the title of Easy Raja Yoga Meditation. I would like to ask our panelists, that is meditation really, really easy? Yes? Sister Shreya?
I think the easiest way is actually traffic control of the mind. It is the easiest way because in that you don't have to take out separate time. See, like for us, we like to begin our day with some amount of meditation in the morning, and it's not about long hours is what I believe. It's not about sitting for half an hour or long hours. It has to be done sincerely. It's done sincerely even for a minute, I think it's very helpful.
Just to interrupt you, how this Raja Yoga meditation is different from chanting mantras and going to the temples and sitting there and relaxing ourselves?
Okay, that's, because a lot of people feel that we're already practicing a form of meditation, and how is this different from that? So the couple of words that you have used, I will explain that. The first one, normally all forms of meditations are to help my mind work faster. Meditation is taking care of mind. Just like artists take care of their brushes, They will not let it touch anybody, and you'll have musicians taking care of their instruments. So the basic, when I say I'm a meditator, it means I like to take care of my mind. I mean, you can't dirty it. You can't throw anything, and I'm not going to let it dirty it. So that's the first thing. And how it is different is, the first kind of meditation that we sometimes practice is mantra. Is it helpful? Are there people practicing that? Is it helpful? What do we do when we are chanting a mantra? We're repeating one word. So when we're repeating one word, we're not thinking anything else. I'm repeating one word, I'm not thinking anything else. So in that period of time, no negative thought will come. That is the benefit. See, every form has a benefit, but it's limited. Now, a lot of times when we practice mantra, then after a period of time, you probably must have realized, that's what I realized in my experiment, that the mouth is speaking and mind, it's gone. It goes everywhere and come by the time I'm finished with my chanting of mantra, because it's like if you have to eat one dal every day, what will happen? Same thing every day, what will happen? Same breakfast every day, you will get bored. Similarly, this mind, when you keep chanting one thing, then after some time the mouth can chant, and it's very difficult to concentrate on just one word. So basically in meditation, then we don't restrict ourselves to one word. We then take a lot of positive knowledge and play with it. The second thing that you said was prayer.
Yes.
Pratna is something very beautiful, but they are somebody else's words. It's somebody else's feelings. So it's not my feeling. Your child goes to school today and the teacher writes something very nice for you, for the parent. Very nice, very good English. And the child comes back home and recites that to you today and tomorrow and for the rest of the life. Will you like that? Or he comes back home and in his own language, in his own childish language, he has something to say new every day. What will you like more? The first one or the second one?
Second one.
He's my father, no? It has to be my story. It has to be my feelings. The prayer is very good for somebody who's written, it's their feelings. But when I talk to him, it's everything new. Every day I have something else to share. They are my feelings. I'm going to talk to him. He's my father. See, one thing we have to understand, we sing a song. Tumi ho mata, pita tumi ho bandhu, sakha tumi. Now my father will know everything about me. Will he or not? When I meet God, does he know everything about me? Do I know everything about him? Is there a conversation? Is there an exchange of energy? That is something we have to work on. It's a relationship. And any relationship is developed when we talk to that person every day. Any relationship. You could be best of friends. But if you stop communicating today, then after a period of time when you meet, you won't have anything to say.
Sister Shreya, it means that we don't have to be thoughtless, but we have to program our mind.
We have, when we're talking to God, it's just pure talking, What you said makes sense that, meditation, some people think that with gradual practice, we'll reach zero thought stage. You think that is possible? Is something we are aiming for? धीरे धीरे practice करते करते मन बिल्कुल zero thought stage पर चला जाएगा? क्या लगता है? Who feels that with a lot of practice it is possible to reach zero thought stage? Now, there isn't much time, but you can experiment. Try it for 30 seconds. Do you want to try it for 30 seconds? 30 seconds, consciously. All we have to do is not create any thought. करें 30 सेकंड करके देखें. सिर्फ क्या करना है, कोई थॉट क्रिएट नहीं करना है मन में. चलो स्टार्ट. ओके हुआ? किसका हुआ? हाँ जी. Does anybody wants to share what did you do, brother? क्या किया आपने? Anyone? Sorry? Are you connected with the Supreme Soul? So you created one thought that next 30 seconds I have to connect to the Supreme Being. So how many thoughts you created? I have to connect to the Supreme Being. One thought. Excellent, but not zero thought. One thought. Anybody else? There were 10 hands. Now all the hands have gone. Yes, brother. One thought. I'll tell you what all of you were doing. मुझे कोई थॉट नहीं करना है, मुझे कोई थॉट नहीं करना. 30 seconds no thought.
Again, it's a thought. मुझे कुछ नहीं सोचना है, वो भी एक thought है.
You have to experiment with the concepts to understand that zero thought stage is not possible. Mind is a factory which is continuously creating thoughts. Thoughts will come. I am creating them. They will come. All I can do is change the quality and slow down the speed. But when we're talking to God, it's my own feelings. Yeah?
Well, a very important question to you.
Rajesh Bhai wants to.
Yeah, just a minute. A very important question. We have seen sisters meditating for us in Amrit Vela here on the stage in front of you with open eyes. Usually people say when we sit in the meditation, we have to close our eyes. And we couldn't meditate with an open eyes. This is the question to the panel, that how to meditate, whether with closed eyes or with the open eyes. What is the real and actual technique to meditate?
This is a wonderful technique that we have learnt only in this organization. I will start with a recent exercise that we have done for security professionals of our organization. There were 140 security professionals who were asked to learn meditation. For sure, if I would have told them that, boss, you learn closed eyes meditation while you are on job, we would have never been called back to do these meditations in that organization. So we learned this open-eyed meditation, which all of us do. Each of us have done open-eyed meditation. Remember, while you are walking, probably in this campus itself, remembering God, remembering your loved ones, your peripheral vision is actually seeing everything. But you are not able to see the friend in front of you and you pass by. You are actually meditating. Meditation is connection, right? A link, a love link. And that love link with that person is on, you are moving, and there is absolutely no accident happening on the way. Right? It is possible. That's in short, considering the positive sign.
Thank you, Brother Brijesh. And at the last, I would request Sister Shreya, summing up whole of the session, can you please give every one of us 3 simple steps or 3 simple techniques or tools for easy meditation in busy life?
The whole session was that, isn't it? But yes, okay, the one thing before, to just add to the eye part, 2 things. One thing, when we close eyes, why I am just taking it a little further, it's very important. When we close eyes, medically or scientifically, I don't know what the right term is, but then the signal that goes to our body is that it's time to sleep. We have people who will close their eyes and in a little while, because they're so tired, they will fall asleep, and then they will get up and then say, oh, I had wonderful experience in meditation. Because even when you sleep, you feel relaxed. But that is relaxation, and meditation is recharging. So I would suggest that you should do meditation when you're fully awake. It's not to be done when I'm tired, because it's so much work that we're doing within. So it has to be done when I'm very awake. And second thing is, when I close my eyes, it becomes time bound. And like we said, when somebody is insulting me, like the previous example, even then I need to decide what should be my reaction, isn't it? You are insulting me, and there and then I have to decide whether I have to get angry with you or I have to be compassionate. What am I doing within? In that brief second, I am meditating. So if I do it with open eyes, I can do it in situations. Meditation is, like she said, steps. It's connecting with yourself, it's connecting with God, and then it's connecting with the world. 3 steps. Connecting with the self is the realization, negative thought. Realization. So you can say connecting with the self is self-realization. Then connecting with the God is using some point of knowledge that God has shared with me. Just not saying, Shiv Baba, no, not that. What Shiv Baba has said to me. What is his teaching? What exactly would he want me to do now? He can only guide, like you see in beautifully in Mahabharata. Arjuna is the one to fight, and Krishna is the one to guide. And Krishna says, I can only guide, I will not pick up a weapon. You have to fight. We have to fight our own battles. We have to face our challenges. What he will do? Guide. Can you do your children's homework? You can't? Can you or you cannot? Okay, you can, no, but you will not do it. Why? See, interesting. You will not do your child's homework because it will make them weak. So you will help them to do it, but you will want them to do it. You will hold their hands and it will take them 1 hour to write from A to Z, but you will make them do it. It will take you 1 minute to write from A to Z. He will not do our role. He will guide us. He will hold our hand. He will share the knowledge. He will give us the power. He will be my backbone. He will be beside us. But we'll have to face the challenge. And that is connecting with God, self-control. And then connecting with the world, communication. So when I'm aware, when I have already connected with Him, I know what is the energy that I have to give to the world. Because you can do only 3 things with energy. When the energy comes, negative energy comes, you can either absorb it and feel bad about it. You can either reflect it, eat ka jawab. Patthar se, you can either reflect it. And the third thing that you can do is, what's the law of energy? It can neither be created nor be destroyed, but it can be transformed. So the energy of pain, awareness, talk to God, change the energy into compassion and send it back. And now that what you're going to send is going to come back. So 3 steps. Connect yourself, connect to God, and then connect to the world.
Thank you so much, Sister Shreya. As well, thanks to Brother Brijesh, and above all, thanks to the wonderful audience for this patient listening. On behalf of whole BKIT team, I'll share a couplet only for you all. Zindagi zinda dili mange aapse, Zindagi zinda dili mange aapse, फूल की हर कली खुशबू मांगे आपसे, उजाला हो मुकद्दर में आपके इतना, उजाला हो मुकद्दर में आपके इतना कि सूरज की हर किरण भी रोशनी मांगे आपसे, रोशनी मांगे आपसे. Thank you so much. Yes.
Shanti, it's already 10 o'clock. Sona nahi hai kisi ko, don't want to sleep. So we will try to get Shreya Ben tomorrow at valedictory session also if possible. Now let us finish. It's already 10 o'clock. Tomorrow we will meet here at 4 a.m. for Amrit Vela meditation. And after that, valedictory session. Please, we will have a very quick valedictory session because you all have to go to sightseeing. So try to be here as early as possible after the breakfast. Like 9:30 we'll start. Half an hour, 45 minutes. As early as possible we will finish. And Nirmala Didi ji will be joining us for the valedictory session. So please don't miss. Now, thank you. Unlimited thanks. What to say? Thank you. Thanks Brijesh Bhai, Shreya Ben and Karamjit Behan for such a wonderful session. Now we will felicitate them with the memento. Then we will leave. Good night. Thank you. Okay, after the memento thing, we will sit in 1 minute for silence, then we will leave. One more important thing, please don't forget to submit the feedback forms because it will help us for the improvement in our next events. Please make sure to submit all the feedback forms before you leave the premises. Thank you.